All right, so I'm going to talk about a little bit of a touchy subject revolving meditation and Christianity. So, meditation was a concept and a practice that was introduced to me a couple of years ago. And, I grew up in a Christian home with Christian beliefs and Christian doctrine. And meditation was just something that we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about it. This was like this Eastern religion type of thing, like dark kind of, just like you don't go there in the world that I was brought up in. And the thing that was about this was that it was introduced to me by someone with a lot of Christian beliefs. Like we didn't share all the same beliefs, but we shared a lot of the same beliefs. So he introduced me to this concept of meditation. And at first, I was very resistant to it, and I, was like, no, that's not for me. That's not what I've been taught. That's not what I believe. And but it was something that he just asked me to consider and to do some research and investigation and see if I found that it actually may line up with what my beliefs were. So I began researching about meditation, what that word meant, what the practice was, how did that fit into my beliefs as a Christian, and is it something that I should even pursue? Like, why should I even pursue that? So what I want to talk to you about today is what I have found through my practice of meditation, and how I've found that it does not oppose my beliefs, but actually has helped me to grow my faith. And I believe that this is something that God desires for us to do, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. So let's dig into some of these slides that I've prepared for today's sermon. So why would we even consider adding meditation to our spiritual practice? Okay, so the main thing, and there's a lot of different forms of meditation, and I believe that I fully believe that there's some forms of meditation that are not in alignment with what I would call typical Christian faith and belief. Some of this inviting just this darkness and stillness and trying to connect with the universe and things like that, versus the approach that I take to meditation. So I'm going to be covering just is my form and practice of meditation, and just offer you some things to consider in your life to ultimately bring you closer connection to God and to create peace and connectedness type things. So why meditate? So to reinforce thoughts of praise, gratitude, love, compassion, and to reduce and eliminate some of the opposing thoughts, okay? So really, what we focus on will expand in our life, all right? I've got a couple scriptures I'm going to tie into on a slide, but I'm going to go ahead and share the first one now. It's coming to my mind. Jesus spoke like the Word will become flesh. The Word became flesh. So the words that you have going on up here will often translate into the physical form in terms of the actions that you produce in your life. So just like prayer is very critical in our walk as Christians, so it's just taking time to focus and concentrate on the things that we want to generate in our life. Okay? So if we're walking in faith, like we want to produce more faith and confidence in our relationship with God. We want to generate powers and affirmation of loving others, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, kind of fruits of the Spirit. And how are we really going to enforce or reinforce these thoughts if we're not focusing on them? So meditation is, for me, is a time to focus. It's a time to focus on the things that I want to create in my life and in my character. So we're going to talk about some of not only the spiritual benefits of meditation, but some of the physiological benefits. There's proven scientific physical benefits of meditating. So Another reason why you may consider to meditate is because as accumulated stress, self-destructive type of behavior patterns begin to build up, destructive thoughts, you can begin to dissolve them, to eliminate them, and really just focus on creating a life filled with certainty, being more clear who you are with God, which I call that being powerful, walking in a place of power, of confidence, and really just beginning to create the types of results that you desire in your life and that you may be seeking in your spiritual life. So the type of meditation that I learned is called Ascension Meditation. What that word means, to ascend, to rise beyond. I look at that as rising above and beyond some of the chaos, some of the worldly things that are going on, and just going above it, taking our thoughts to a higher place, a safer ground, a more elevated just place of thinking, a more enlightened state of mind. So what this does, it provides us a process that will help us to still our mind, remove some of the limiting subconscious behavior. There's this disconnect always going on between what's going on in our head and what's going in our heart, right? So I believe the world, I believe a lot of the chaos, the stress, and all those types of things communicate a lot up here in our mind. And I believe that God communicates here in our heart. And so what this does, it gives us a place and a time to focus on listening here. Because what I found in my life, like I was so busy, just being busy on the go. I would take time to pray, but what am I doing when I'm praying? I'm talking to God. I'm telling God what I think versus being still and listening. And in our day and age, in our generation, like I've found that to be more and more the case, where people are just busy, go on these things here, and we're not taking time to be still. All right, so we're going to talk about not only some of the spiritual benefits, but the impacts on your body, on your brain. Our brain is a muscle, and we're wearing it out by nonstop going. Like I believe that God is calling us to enter into a time of stillness, right? A time of stillness, and just listen, to sit and be still and hear and know that I am God. But we're not really taking that time to be still. So whether you even want to call this meditation or not, taking time to be still and silent and focus on the things that you need to focus on in your life and in your walk with God, designating that time has been incredibly powerful for my life, and that's what this is about. So, just to finish this slide, to kind of rise beyond negative and destructive thoughts, feelings, and emotions, like to discern, like, hey, I've got this issue. I've got this fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. Say, I've got this fear, God. Oops, sorry about that. Speaking of phones and technology, I've got this fear. Like, why don't I focus on love? Why don't I focus on faith and just take some time, 10, 20 minutes at a time, whatever it is. So this meditation, this quiet time, this focus on that one thing that you're going to focus on, because it's important, focus on one thing in meditation, not 20 things. Like, we're going to focus on one thing during each practice of meditation. So that practice allows us to more effectively reduce stress, heal the body, and stay centered and at peace in our everyday lives. So let's talk about how this ties in a little bit more to Christianity. So when I'm meditating, like I said, I'm focusing generally on one thing. Typically, what I'm focusing on, it falls under the umbrella of things like praise, love, gratitude, appreciation, honor, these types of things. Things and characters that really form the basis of Christianity and even other world religions, for those of you watching who aren't Christian. So my practice and my position is that meditation should complement and strengthen your beliefs. Okay, so for my fellow Christians watching out there, like, this is a time to strengthen you and grow you as a Christian, not to take you away from that. So a couple of the scriptures that come to mind with this is, I'm just going to read the bold text, is be still and know that I am God. Like, how many of you are not taking the time to be still? Okay? Not taking the time to be still. You get up, and as soon as you get up, like, and hit the alarm clock, like, you're racing through your day all day long, the morning, evening, noon, and night. You're just running through your day and then hitting the bed, going to bed, and you're not taking the time to be still. So this is a time to be still and listen and hear from God. And the Word became flesh. I mentioned that already. So we're going to focus on words that we desire and believe that God desires for us to become flesh in our life. Things that, character traits, things that we want to produce fruit, because He will know us and they will know us by our fruit. These are the types of things that we need to focus on. Like, if you find yourself like getting upset, angry, and short-tempered with your kids, like, you need to focus on how to improve that. Right? You can focus on peace. You can focus on, just being more relaxed. Focus on the fruits of the Spirit, slow to react. Things like that. So, let's talk about we're going to set the spiritual discussion on the side for just a minute, and we're going to talk about some of the physical benefits. And I'm just going to read through these. So, why meditate in terms of some of the physical benefits that you could receive? So first, improve sleep and rest, something we all need. Lower your work or family stress. Increase your calmness and your relaxation. You will have less anxiety. Yes, you will have enhanced spirituality. Increased inner peace and self-acceptance, contentment. You will find yourself becoming more optimistic versus pessimistic. You can begin to actually heal addictions through some of the focus that you're going to take on. You're strengthening your mind, you're strengthening your brain. That's how we battle a lot of these things that we deal with in the world. You can improve physical healing, improve your family life, improve relationships. And I'm a businessman, so a lot of you guys know me as a businessman. And so I've found that I'm more focused and present and certain as I move into the business world when I'm taking time to meditate and be still. So that's just another little added benefit. So let's talk about some of the science, because I believe that God has orchestrated the world in such a way that not only do things make sense spiritually, they line up and make sense, scientifically. And that's like, as we hear about every month, it seems like there's some new discovery how scientists are proving things that were thought to not be true about the Bible scientifically. And so the same applies to like our physiology. Like, I believe a lot of the things that God has commanded us to do and ways that He's commanded us to live is because it produces a better experience for us in life in general. It's not always the case, but I found that to be a case a majority of the time. Like, the more that I'm living a life that's in alignment with what I believe to be what the scriptures call me to do, guess what? Like, life's usually just clicking better. I'm more at peace. I'm more calm. I'm walking in faith, eliminating a lot of the fear. And so, like, let's talk about the science here. So we're going to talk about the brain. So the brain is divided into two hemispheres. Okay, two hemispheres. And just so you know, the average person has somewhere between like 50 and 70,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. That's a lot of chaos. That's a lot of head talk going on all day long. Thoughts, doubt, worry, fear, anxiety, blah, 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 blah. Right hemisphere and left hemisphere are controlling different sides of our body. There's a lot of disconnect going on with all these thoughts, all these stories, all this chaos we may be creating up here, right? All day long. So we need to connect these two, right? To bring peace and harmony so we can connect here. So I can tell you, like right now, like in order to achieve all the benefits that we talked about earlier, like the physical benefits, like some of you are going to have to get over some of the ego, deeply embedded thoughts that you may have just around meditation, or just that you may have around some of your own like character traits that you have inside of you. So that's what you're going to have to battle with, because what we're going to really want to do is bring unity between these two sides. So, I mentioned like right brain controls the left, left controls the right. So there's, this thing going on inside, and like we often see things like in opposing views. It's like the whole little cartoon with the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other kind of thing going on. Like there's some truth to that, and there's some wisdom in that image, okay? Because that's what's going on up here. But more importantly, what's going on here with our head, all this input that we're receiving from the world versus our heart and what God may be calling us to do, what we feel like our calling is inside, what we feel like our dreams, our desires, our passions are, the things that we need to accomplish in the world, the fruit that we want to produce in our heart versus all this stuff coming into our mind. That is, a lot of times, there's a big disconnect between the heart and the mind. So we're going to align the two, and that's what it's really about, is connecting, like just to be still, make sure that we're hearing right. So the practice of meditation is going to help to eliminate a lot of the lateralization of the brain just by focusing on some type of prayer, mantra. Sometimes it's just you focus on your breathing, just like if you feel yourself getting stressed out, just to focus on your breathing, shutting down all your thoughts. A mantra could be a scripture, could be a word. Like I really recommend a word. So kind of what this is about is like chilling out, okay? Chilling out and focusing on what it is that we need to focus on at that point in time for that 10 or that 20 minutes. And not going to get too deep in the science, but this is where, the focus, the more relaxed that we get in our focus, the more that our thoughts slow down, okay? So if you've ever had that power nap, right? Like that 20, 30-minute power nap, and you wake up and you just feel so relaxed, that's probably because you reached a state into where your brain is slowing down. Like, so the thing with our brains are, like I already mentioned, we've got like these 50,000 thoughts a day. Our brain is a muscle. The average brain weighs like 2 to 3 pounds is what I've read. And yet it consumes over 20% of all the calories that we intake every day. So just think about that. So me, I weigh like 180 pounds. My brain weighs like 3 pounds. If I'm eating 2,000 calories a day to fuel my entire body, my 2 to 3 pound brain, just this one little portion of my entire body, 180 pounds, is going to consume like, 500 calories-ish out of 2,000, okay? That's a pretty good chunk, maybe 400 calories, whatever it is. It's a lot for just thinking, okay? So, like, the way that we live our lives and treat our brain, it's equivalent to you getting on a treadmill, like at 6 a.m. in the morning, and not getting off until like 10 o'clock at night, right when you go to bed. Like, working, 50,000 thoughts, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's why, so many people have headaches, migraine headaches, doubt, fear, stress, all this kind of stuff. Like the problems that they're making, they're creating in their mind aren't even as bad as they really are. It's just that they're wearing their brain freaking out, okay? So this is time to chill, to move from the beta, the alpha, theta, and delta is really, really, really chill brain states. You may not ever hit that. But even if you're just moving to like an alpha state or a theta state, it is better. And I'll show you with some science in a minute. So that's the other thing about with meditation. Like, this isn't just an opinion anymore in terms of the benefits and effects of it. Like, I encourage you to do your own research. But the research is being proven scientifically, not only in the activity of your brain. You see beta at the top is like 90 to nothing, versus delta is very relaxed. Okay, it's resting, it's restoring, it's connecting to your heart. So all the science is out there. The physical benefits of this practice is out there as well. So really, at this point in time, like, this sermon was really just to give you something to consider, okay, surrounding this concept and this practice of meditation. Really, you know what I encourage you to do, it's just what I did was I took in some information, did some research, and began to formulate my own thoughts and my own views. I'm like, there's a possibility it looks like that this could help strengthen who I am in my faith as a Christian, rather than take me away from it. No, I wasn't worshiping the devil or converting to some Eastern religion by doing. I was actually becoming more of who I feel like God has called me to be. And I believe there's a reason why Jesus went up in the mountains all alone, just to be quiet and be still and connect with God. Okay, so how do we practice it? Like, what does this look like? So, really, like, just relax. What I do is I get into a comfortable position, usually laying down, like I'm gonna like kind of like you're gonna take a nap, but you don't want to take a nap unless you fall asleep and take a nap. Then that's what your body needed. But you want to get into a relaxed position, just like I lay down on my couch or my bed. I don't lay down on my sides. I lay straight, arms down, legs down, and that's it. And I get comfortable. Begin to take some deep breaths. 3 to 5, maybe 10 or 20 deep breaths. If I'm having a stress day, I'll begin to just slow down my breathing, close my eyes, and I focus on a mantra. What is a mantra? So we're going to talk about that in just a second. And I'd go for about 20 minutes. That's my commitment to this every day, is a practice of 20 minutes. Sometimes I do it more than one time a day, but generally this is a 20-minute time for me throughout my day. I usually do it about midday. Stress, things like that, tension may be accumulating a little bit. Boom, hit the reset button, just like dumping all the spam out of your email. That's what this does. So 20 minutes, boom, dump out all the trash, re-energize, boom. So that is the practice, like those 5 things. But let's talk about what is a mantra. So a mantra could be a scripture. I would encourage you to narrow down a scripture to a single word or portion of that scripture. You can just focus on words that affirm your faith, who you are, or who you are desiring to be more of. Focus on words like empathy, integrity, love. Sometimes I focus on unconditional love, honor, and appreciation. Just these things that bring you closer to who you feel God is calling you to be. It gives you that time to focus your thoughts on that idea, on that word, because the word will become flesh. So let's focus on what we want to become flesh. We want to produce fruit. And let's connect the right and left side with the heart. That's it. That's it. Like, just consider what I've shared with you today, and put it into practice. Test it. Test this in your life and see if it helps you to produce a closer relationship, more connected to God and your faith. And for me, in my walk with God, like, I've found that it has helped me become a better Christian, closer to God, more connected, and produce more fruit, which is That's what it's all about. All right, so thank you for watching my sermon. Appreciate any comments below, likes, dislikes, disagreements. You want to back some of this up with some of your findings, like leave your comments, and appreciate you for watching. Take care.